So, is there anything else I need to do as a researcher based at UWE Bristol?
There are a few things we ask you to do. We have a UWE Bristol open access policy, which is based on the university's research strategy. The aim of that is to achieve globally recognised research with real-world impact. With that in mind, we encourage all our researchers to explore the benefits of using open access practices in research. I'm about to go and answer some questions on it now. Would you like to come?
Sure.
Welcome to this session on the UWE Bristol Open Access Policy. Our policy encourages free, unrestricted online access to UWE Bristol research outputs to read, download and reuse, subject to licence and attribution. Our aim is to maximise the visibility of our research outputs, to promote dissemination and impact, and to comply with various government and funder open access requirements. So, any questions?
I'm a postgraduate research student at UWE. Does any of this apply to me?
Yes. UWE Bristol's open access policy applies to all employees and PGR students who produce outputs from their research at UWE Bristol.
And do I have to engage with open access for all research that I produce?
Ideally, yes, you'll engage with open access for all the research outputs you author, co-author or create. This is provided that they're not confidential or subject to any conditions stipulated by a funder, collaborator or publisher. Research outputs can include, but aren't limited to, journal articles, books, conference proceedings, digital artefacts, exhibitions and theses.
What about my funders' requirements? Who is most important here?
We expect researchers to comply with their funders' policies relating to open access, and our policy does allow for this. Do bear in mind that your funder may have additional requirements to those here at UWE Bristol. We do ask that you acknowledge the source of grant funding associated with the research output in the publication itself. This is in line with most funders' requirements.
How do I acknowledge grant funding? Is there a specific format?
The funding agency should be written out in full, followed by the grant number in square brackets where appropriate.
Is there anything else I need to include on my paper?
Please use the standardised affiliation University of the West of England, Bristol in all research outputs. This will also help ensure you're recognised as being entitled to the various open access publisher deals we have on offer.
What if there are issues with making my paper open access?
We do accept that there are reasons why some work can't be made open access. We would expect you to take account of any ethical, legal or commercial reasons why some research outputs cannot be made openly accessible.
Is there anything I shouldn't do?
Please avoid publishing in a journal with both subscription and open access elements. These are known as hybrid journals. This is unless the journal is part of a transitional agreement, which means it's en route to becoming open access. We can advise you on this if it's not clear.
Is there any one thing I can do to help make this all easier?
Yes, register for an individual ORCID identifier. This stands for Open Researcher and Contributor ID. This is a unique identifier that allows you to tie all your research together in one place. You can include your ORCID on your UWE Bristol profile page when submitting publications, when applying for grants, and in any research workflow to ensure that you're credited for your work and that the correct institutional affiliation is achieved.
And what will you do to help us with all this?
We can provide advice and guidance on all aspects of open access. For example, explaining transformative publisher open access deals, showing you how to deposit research outputs on the UWE Bristol Research Repository, or helping you to comply with any specific publisher and funder requirements. Our UWE Bristol Research Repository also enables long-term storage and preservation of research outputs.
I understand the requirements, but I'm still unclear about what I actually need to do in order to make my work open access.
Please do come and talk to us for further advice. There's information on our web pages, you can email us, or watch our other videos on the practicalities of making your work open access following the green or gold route. For more information, contact us at lib.rke@uwe.ac.uk or repository@uwe.ac.uk.
Created using Powtoon.